What are some things that the OEMs don't want you to know as a buyer of machinery?
Well, that's a tough. A lot of time OEMs are good at one machine and maybe they're not as good as on the other machine type as the other manufacturer. For example, one OEM will be best at CNC but not as good as other OEM in edgebander,
Yeah, but they'll never tell you that.
There's so many OEMs in the market. Sometimes, people get excited also, and sometimes they buy what they even don't need.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Sumeet Dass. Sumeet has a crazy backstory in the woodworking industry, and today we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes that woodworking manufacturers make and how to get ahead of them. We're also going to go over some of the ways that you can get a competitive advantage in the woodworking space and how to most effectively invest in automation equipment for your business. So Sumeet, tell us a little bit more about your background.
I did my mechanical engineering in Austria, and then I started working for Felder as a CNC technician where the factory headquarters is, and then I moved to USA. Mr. Felder actually recruited me as a CNC technician here / CNC manager, and then later on I was regional sales manager in Florida for Biesse.
So you finished up with Biesse and now you've got your own business and you're doing consulting.
Yep, now I'm actually in consulting business, so I don't particularly selling any OEM, so I'm really excited to help any woodworker in the United States, help them to invest their hard-earned money in the right direction.
I wanted to dive in, so just based on your background as a technician starting out like in Austria on the factory floor at headquarters at Felder, and then transitioning into a sales role, I think you have a really unique combination of skills, and I think some of those insights would be really helpful for somebody who's maybe just getting into CNC or woodworking automation. Based on your experience, what are some of the big things that woodworking manufacturers get wrong or the mistakes that they make when they're investing in CNC machinery and automation?
If you buy a car, there's so many options when you're buying a car. The same thing in this industry, when you buy a CNC machine, you think CNC is a CNC machine, but it's not that thing, There's so many small options which can increase your productivity. There's so many OEMs in the market. Sometimes, people get excited also, and sometimes they buy what they even don't need. Sometimes they like to spend so much money, and then, in the long run, now they have a lot of fixed costs. That's what I'm saying, sometimes you just know exactly what you need in terms of how much production you do. That matters a lot. Sometimes, you can buy a machine for 100,000 and you will be more than enough. But then if you spend 3,000, 300,000 for exactly the same machine, maybe you did not need. Now you have a lot of more fixed costs, which was maybe not a good idea.
What are some things that the OEMs don't want you to know as a buyer of machinery?
Well, that's a tough. A lot of time OEMs are good at one machine and maybe they're not as good as on the other machine type as the other manufacturer. For example, one OEM will be best at CNC but not as good as other OEM in edgebander,
Yeah, but they'll never tell you that.
Sometimes if you do your own research, sometimes it's not a bad thing having the two different companies' machines. If you think that's the best way for you, for your company, do your own research, making sure you're getting what you want.
Back to your technician days. What are the most important things that a woodworking manufacturer needs to keep in mind in terms of service and support before they make that investment in automation?
So, having a local technician around you definitely helps. So now you have to make sure, when you're buying a machine, they have a local support. If they don't have a local support, you have to see, how fast they can react on a downtime, Let me tell you an example. For example, you have a CNC machine, If you buy a CNC machine at the beginning, you will have a couple of errors maybe if you're doing something wrong or you don't know what's going on. Also, good telephone support is necessary at the beginning. 90% of your problems will be solved through internet. They actually look into your machine, they go online and see, okay, there was a small error. They will fix it online and you're good to go. On the other hand, the edgebander, have a lot of moving parts. Edgebander needs actually a local technician. So having a edgebanding technician around you definitely will help, because also, edgebander will need a lot of maintenance. So you want to make sure you're, keeping the maintenance all the time. I will give you an example. When, let's say, your machine is down, and now the OEMs will charge you quite a bit because, if the machine is out of warranty, and then, if you had a local technician, it just save you also quickly response, and also, save you some time, because if somebody has to fly in from different state, you have to pay for the flight and hotel and all that. There is a big challenge in this industry, finding a nice technician, and every OEM mostly is short staff.
What's like one of the biggest challenges or a huge learning curve for woodworking shop that's converting from a manual process to automation?
Now the software has improved so much lately, they're not as difficult anymore as they used to be. So it's pretty simple now, you can learn the software pretty easy. There is a learning curve for sure at the beginning. I would say whenever you invest on a CNC machine, give yourself a little bit more time. Let's say have like 2 months, not overload yourself, with the work. You still have to keep working. But there will be some learning curve, so you can start slowly in the CNC machine while you're actually learning the software as well.
So let's say you need to automate one way or the other. So you either need to do it on your shop floor or you need to outsource that process. What do you think is the break point in terms of when it makes sense to continue to outsource some of that work versus bringing it in-house and investing in a machine perhaps?
So it all depends if you're getting projects, if you have enough work and you're outsourcing quite a bit. Let's say you were outsourcing for last 4 or 5 months, or you have a business for 4 or 5 months, try it out outsourcing. And then if you have enough business, that outsourcing money you're giving, less than that, you will be, your financing amount for that machine will be less, what you're actually giving to outsourcing. Then definitely makes sense if you have enough business lying on, or you see, outsourcing helps because, now you're getting faster and more work. So I would say then, just invest on your own thing, because then you don't have to rely on their timing, and, everything will be in-house.
Having the machine and the capacity, it's kind of a chicken or the egg, right? To get new business. It's hard to go out and get new business if you don't have the capacity to actually take that on.
You are doing, let's say 3-4 kitchen, and you want to keep doing 3-4 kitchens, but now you can cut in a day instead of 4 days. Now you have 3 extra days to do a lot more things, maybe find more projects or relax.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, God forbid you relax, right? As a business owner. Okay, so walk us through what the process would look like in working with you as a consultant.
So I can, help them from starting to the end. So I can tell them, okay, what software works for them, what machine brand work for them just because of their needs, and also what initial cost they have to invest on, because, a lot of sales rep will not tell them, so dust collector, air compressor, power, electrician, all that. They will feel more confident, and then they know exactly what their budget looks like.
Great. So yeah, just like a turnkey advocate for their business.
Correct. I will recommend exactly what as per their requirements.
Very cool. What are some other things that Bajaj CNC Solutions can help with?
We also selling now the NC Hub software, which is actually a parametric software. So we are the distributor for the NC Hubs here in the United States and Canada. And also Bajaj recently started doing their own tooling. So Bajaj tooling, mostly we're doing the CNC tooling, so you can buy any tooling from us.
So we'll have your contact info in the video as well. So if anybody needs to reach out regarding just general consulting services, looking to get into automation, could use someone like Sumeet's decades worth of experience, tooling, software, you're the guy.
Perfect. I will be more than happy to help wherever I can. Thank you so much.